Next up, Russ and I are going to take a look at the new Shout Factory Halloween 4K. We're going to dive deeper into the set itself, take a look at the packaging, talk about the movie, and do some 4K and Blu-ray comparisons with this new Shout Factory 4K versus the US Blu-ray and the most recent Lionsgate 4K that came out in 2018.
So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to us, and get notified for future videos.
So Russ, the other week, Halloween 4K finally made it into the mail, and I've got it right here. And wanted to kind of take a look at this, open it up, kind of talk about the packaging a little bit. I had never seen this movie. This was a complete blind buy for me.
Blasphemy.
So I have actually watched it, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it and give you my thoughts, and then take a look at some of the screenshots to see how it's looking versus its peers, its counterparts. Right off the bat, the first thing that I noticed about this, these slipcases have all of a sudden gone from your standard sort of just, thin cardboard material to a very rigid, hard-backed slipcase.
And they're coming out of the side now.
This is a very hard box now, and it comes, like Russ mentioned, it slides out like this instead of kind of going, top down. And I gotta tell you, that's just really awesome. Like when we reviewed this for the very first time, we were talking about this being announced. There wasn't any mention about what the slipcase was going to be like. You just kind of thought it was going to be the standard thing.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen this, I really got to tip my hat. Like they really went all out for this. Not just this set, but Russ, you mentioned that your Elvira came the same way.
Yeah, I received my Elvira Haunted Hills, and same exact rigid slipcase coming out of the side, and it's not a 4K release.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, so the package itself, amazing. And then when I slid it out, what I ended up doing was I swapped out the new art for the original art on the case itself.
Yeah, it's got reversible.
Yeah, so it had reversible art, and I swapped that out right away, just so, that way you have both. You have the slipcase that has the new art, which up close looks good. That was my favorite art of the 5 that we looked at. I kind of dogged the art a little bit, but was then promptly put in my place for why the masks looked the way that they did and so forth. Check that out if you missed that roasting. As far as the film itself, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I have to say that I think I went in with a lot of like preconceived notions or what I assumed the series is, right? Like when you take a step back and you think of, okay, Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween, you kind of just, in my mind, in a very generalized sense, it's like these guys they're like supernatural killing machines. Like you can't stop them. They keep coming back, movie over movie. It doesn't matter how you kill them. If you ever try, they're always going to come back. This sounds boring to me. Like a guy in a mask, who cares? Like I want Freddy. Like that shit sounds cool. Like I want Hellraiser. That shit sounds cool. Just some guy walking around with a mask and a knife. Who gives a fuck? And as the series went on, and again, it just became more and more of the same kind of thing, and it just seemed cliche. I never had a desire to see it. But then after we talked, and you mentioned often how this is John Carpenter's masterpiece, and there's all this different great things about it, and it really made me say, okay, well maybe the original here is not indicative of the series as a whole. Mm-hmm. But going in and watching it again, I didn't know even what to expect, and I was really taken aback by how methodical it was. I really enjoyed the first-person nature of a lot of it.
I think to summarize what you're saying, I think you weren't prepared for it to be an actual great film. Like Dean Cundy's cinematography, the pacing of it. I don't think you were
a real movie.
I think you were expecting it to be Friday the 13th.
I was expecting maybe a level of campiness, like that kind of like I wasn't expecting a real movie, or a good movie, or whether it be a masterpiece, classic film, whatever.
What you mean. And you're not insulting the genre. You just it is. It's above. It's above the material that it helped define.
It did, and it really did take me by surprise, and that's why I feel like as soon as it was over, I was like, man, I gotta watch this again. Like now that I know what it is, like appreciate it for what it is, because the whole time you're watching it, you're just, you're kind of waiting for certain things to occur based on what you feel like this movie should be, and it's not, and my expectations were just like subverted entirely.
I also want to clarify that while I think I caught hell in the comments before for calling this John Carpenter's masterpiece, and God damn it, I am a John Carpenter fan. When I say this is his masterpiece, I'm not saying maybe this is my personal favorite John Carpenter film. When John Carpenter dies, it will say Halloween director and composer John Carpenter. It will not say They Live director and composer. It will not say Big Trouble in Little China. It will say Halloween. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's just proof that is his masterpiece. And regardless of what you think of it, more people globally know this than any other John Carpenter film. Not to say he doesn't have classics. Like I said, I'm a fucking huge fan. But I mean, this is his masterpiece. I'm sorry.
This also is spawned, not to mention like genres and so on, but I mean, it's spawned, like Michael Myers is like a pop culture icon for good or for worse for John Carpenter, but like that's not something that any of his other movies have ever done. I mean, they all have lasting power, but it's like someone that will never be forgotten within the like our whole shared culture.
The score will never be forgotten in pop culture.
No, ever.
People who you've never even seen, if someone's never even seen this movie, they know that score.
Right.
You can't say that about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Dude, as soon as this movie came on, again, I've never seen this movie. Obviously, I know the theme, but I never saw this movie. As soon as the movie came on and it started playing, I was like, damn, that's right. It's like so good.
It still
like
hits. It still hits. It's still like, I get amped. Dude, like, oh shit, when you see the pumpkin on the side.
I love that intro. Like when it kicks in, that pumpkin's there, the slow zoom with all the credits and just that music's getting you amped up. And then that whole intro scene, which is all in first person view. He's outside, then he's in the house and he goes all the way up and through the eye slits.
That had been done before Halloween though.
But I love that at the end where they come out of the house and then all of a sudden the camera pans up to the
knife.
Yeah, but it pans all the way up. Like now it's on like a crane or a boom or something that's like, again, it started off on the ground, then it zooms out in such a way like it was an amazing opening shot. That was not something I was expecting. That was like a tastefully classy, well done opening to a slasher movie. You know what I'm saying? Like that was, and that's what like set the tone. Like that intro sets the tone.
Dude, the shot set up where Jamie Lee with Laurie's like on the phone or whatever, and Michael's in the background. He just fucking sits up.
Yep.
Dude, that is so. To this day, when I watch it, I'm like, oh shit! Like, get out of there, kind of thing. Like, it's just, it's a masterclass of fucking horror filmmaking.
And some of these other movies, again, that I was kind of bringing in to this, like a Jason or a Freddy, whenever they're on screen, they're there to like kill and then they're gone. It's like, that's it. Like they show up, they kill you or whoever, and then that's it. And then it's like the movie progresses. But this movie, you see Michael Myers or The Shape in like broad daylight across the street, like staring at you. And then there's another scene where he's like behind a bush, broad daylight, staring at you. It's not like, again, he's some like supernatural creature. This is someone that's like stalking, who's terrifying. They put him on screen more often than not, whereas like a Freddy or Jason, they're not in the movie that much, whereas this guy's like part of the cast. Am I wrong? Like, I feel like he's always there.
It actually just made me laugh because you saying he's out there in broad daylight. Like, yeah, he's hanging out at his school.
Yeah, dude,
Little
he's there.
Tommy like runs into him. And so think about all the kids leaving
Yes.
for school at the end of the day, teachers, parents, and there's Michael Myers just standing there.
He's driving a car down the street, like staring out the window. Like this is not normal for this kind of genre that I was expecting. So again, I'm just like, this is so interesting to me because you're not seeing Freddy drive a car. You're not seeing any of these people. If I'm talking like Halloween 8, 9, 10, I'm assuming that is how it is. Like he probably just shows up, murders, and he's gone, and he's like stalking kind of in the background, but not this level of, again, seriously done horror. Not campy, not throwaway. Like that was really took me by surprise.
Well, this is one thing I've loved about John Carpenter in general in all of his movies. He doesn't talk down to the material. Like if this movie was made today, we would know that he was Laurie's brother right off the bat.
Yeah.
I love how simple this movie is, and at the very end of it was that the boogeyman, and as a matter of fact, it was.
Yep.
It's just like, no, we're accepting this.
Yeah.
This was. He's Jaws. He's an unstoppable killing machine. We don't understand it. We don't know what the. That's what we're not going to explain this. This is a tale. This is folklore. This is Americana. Big Trouble in Little China doesn't do that either. None of his movies do. He doesn't make fun of the material. He's in love with it. And you feel it when you're watching it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. When Rob Zombie went and he did his version, that Rob Zombie wanted to do this backstory, and John Carpenter's like, I'm not interested in that. Like this guy, this is like you said, he's an unstoppable killing machine. He has no backstory. That's it. And and again, that point that you mentioned at the end was another thing where I was like, damn, that's awesome.
It is.
Was the ending where she's like, is that the boogeyman? He's like, yeah, it is. And he looks out and he's gone.
Yeah.
And traditionally, in traditional movies like this, the guy's gone, he comes back, because they're going to make another movie. And the director knows they're going to make another one. The studio knows they're going to make another one. He had no idea. He makes this, the guy disappears. No. That is such a cool ending just to say he is the boogeyman. Like, that's the ending.
And like you said, most of the time, what the slasher genre ended up doing was always having those stings at the end to kind of let you know, hey, the killer isn't fully dead. But as you said, they were almost set up as like potential sequels.
From the get-go,
I don't feel that way at the end of Halloween.
No.
To me, when it cuts back and he's not there, I'm
reinforcing he's the boogeyman.
Reinforcing. We're not like, there's no question here. We're not trying to rationalize this. No, he's the boogeyman. You're right. And that's what's so fucking great about this movie. I did see Halloween 2018 once, and I just recently watched Halloween Kills.
So what is your thoughts on Halloween Kills?
It's everything you just said about the original Halloween, only the opposite. It's trash. I was expecting trash because Halloween 2018 was garbage. If you're a fan of Halloween 2018, I will say this one's better. That doesn't mean shit. If I gave a half a star to 2018, I'd give 1 star to this one. Storytelling, it's trash. Jamie Lee Curtis is unconscious through most of it.
Fuck you.
It really focuses on Anthony Michael Hall coming back as the Tommy character, the kid she's babysitting in this one.
The only way we're going to stop this is if we all come together on this.
Now we're seeing Tommy learn that, hey, Michael Myers is back, and now I'm an adult now. We're going to gang up. We're going to get the whole community together and take him down, as strengthen numbers.
Now listen, boys, there's strength in numbers.
I realized what's so shitty about these 2 recent ones, and why I would even go as far to say is that I prefer Rob Zombies. Yeah. They're trying to be comedies. Every character, whether it's a little kid, whether it's senior citizens, nobody talks like this. And when every character talks like this, it's the exact opposite of the 1978. Yeah. I don't care about any characters. Right. You were all walking memes. Yeah. I don't give a shit. I want you to die.
Yeah.
When I watch this, I want Laurie Strode to survive. Yeah. I care about all the characters in this. I don't care about anyone in Halloween Kills. It's dog shit.
The fuck was that?
And please, the comedy sucks. It's not even comedy. People cussing is not funny. Shit. Don't watch this trash. I met Anthony Michael Hall, and he is fucking awesome. He's a great dude, and he did a good job in it. I'm not just saying that because he was very nice to me. I'm just saying he did. He showed up. He kind of did what Jamie Lee Curtis does. Like, she gives his all. But it's pointless.
Hoping for the best.
There's a 16-year-old girl in this one. She was in Halloween 2018 as well. And of course, like all of a sudden, now she's Sarah Connor after like one night of being terrorized. Her mother's like, no, sit up there in the hospital room with your grandmother, Jamie Lee Curtis, while she's unconscious. As any sane person would do after being stalked by a madman. What do you think this character does? What do you think the 16-year-old does?
I'm going with them.
So what you're saying is that you're not going to be picking up the Halloween Kills 4K Steelbook exclusive to Best Buy.
Absolutely not.
There's no release date pending.
Well, hold on. I'm happy because I can hold on to my old Scream Factory Halloween set, which sadly did include the Rob Zombie ones, but I will never pick up another updated set of Halloween simply to include the David Gordon Green, Danny McBride ones.
Mentioning that box set, I actually appreciate now that really awesome pumpkin that's on the front because I really like that intro. Yeah. It's freaking cool.